Back here on the North Shore Drive podcast on the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, Chris Carter, Brian Batko. Brian, the Steelers seem to just be like hitting it's like playing the slots where you just keep just hitting the same button over and over and over again. And it seems like they're trying to find another long outside corner they don't expend a whole lot of draft capital on or any draft capital on to get, who can just end up being the number 2 guy with Joey Porter Jr. long term. Because I think we can all agree, like the plan is for Joey Porter Jr. to be your CB1, unless you like this year if they had gone and gotten Quinyon Mitchell or something like that. But you got Cory Trice, who you picked in the 7th round last year. He got injured in training camp, was out for the season. You got Darius Rush, who you brought in the middle of the season off of a practice squad, and he's just still kind of sitting around there. And now you have Ryan Watts. 3 young guys who are like around the 6'2", 6'3" height range, long arms, decent athleticism, not like completely elite athleticism, but all kind of fitting the bill of like the outside corner of the future that the Steelers want. Because Joey Porter Jr. is a taller, longer guy to put out there. Is it interesting to you to see that has been the investment here? And do you think that one of these guys pan out, or is this just a position that, hey, they need to stop playing around at some point and maybe next year spend a high pick on going and getting that other future starter at the outside cornerback spot?
No, I like this approach from the Steelers. I didn't necessarily love the pick of Watts in particular. You know, he didn't really play much at Ohio State and then transferred to Texas. Had a few interceptions in his career, but I think some of those were in garbage time or were, just kind of served up to him. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see if he pans out. I've also seen some NFL draft gurus suggest maybe a move to safety would make more sense for him because of just lack of lateral quickness and all that. But I mean, hey, it's worth a shot on a guy with those testing numbers at his size, and you've got to have some pedigree to get recruited by Ohio State and then transfer to Texas. So, but in general, though, yeah, I think this makes sense. I think when you've got what appears to be a future, no doubt, number 1 shutdown corner, kind of got to look ahead. You're going to be paying Joey Porter Jr. at some point, as long as he keeps up what he did in his rookie year. I know Ray Fittipaldo was saying, I don't know if it was with you or maybe it was on the radio, I heard him, but maybe it was in his chat that, he likes Joey Porter Jr. Not sure if he can be an all-pro someday. I don't know about that. I think the sky's the limit for him. Trailing teams' best players, Jamar Chase's, Puka Nakua's of the world, and didn't always win every single time, but what corner does? So I think it's a situation where, yeah, you've got him on one side. That gives you the peace of mind to know that on the other side, we could either, we can get a rotation depending on matchups. If the number 2 receiver from our opponent this week is a smaller, shiftier guy, then we get a smaller, shiftier corner to put on him. If it's a bigger, straight line go ball guy, then yeah, there's your Darius Rushes, Cory Trice's, Ryan Watts's of the world. Or yeah, like you said, Chris, in a perfect world, you find a number 2 as a late round gem, and now you're set with the avatar corners, as Mike Tomlin called them last year around draft time. So I like it. We know that the Steelers have had so much trouble scouting, evaluating, developing corners for years and years, but maybe the momentum's starting to turn a little bit for them, and we'll see if they can strike gold on one of these 3.
I mean, hey, don't forget, this is basically a new front office too. So like a lot of the guys who were scouting the corners, they're different now, and so maybe there's different things that they look for. Maybe there's different plans that they make there. I think that's certainly something that could be something to pay attention to with how they do it. Also, Joey Porter Jr. last year, among cornerbacks who at least were in coverage for about 400 snaps on the year, 9th best passer rating allowed in the NFL. Just was really solid quarterbacks either didn't target him, or when they didn't often go well for them. in a lot of situations. A really solid year overall for him, especially as a rookie. And I just think that there's going to be, like you said, the sky's the limit for him. I think that he's still fitting into the Steelers defense. I think that he has all pro potential as a corner. And even if he's not all pro, he could, like Ike Taylor had a great career with the Pittsburgh Steelers. If he's just Ike Taylor who just takes away number ones week in and week out, that's a win for the Steelers. Ike Taylor, though he was a 4th-round pick, he was a huge part of those Super Bowl years.
Yeah, and you didn't need to use 1st-round picks on corners because you had Ike, hold it down. And I think that's also part of the beauty of finding Joey Porter where they did last year, having him fall to them with the 1st pick of the 2nd round. Because, like, you just look ahead, Chris, and obviously we don't know. Plenty of things can happen. Things can change out till the next draft. But I think it's almost an easy call, even right now, May 2nd of 2024, that in May of 2025, we'll be talking about a 1st-round D lineman because they're just getting so long in the tooth at that position. Keanu Benton's really the only promising young player in the pipeline. Not trying to write off the Marvin Leal or Isaiah Loudermilk, but it's not looking good thus far for them. So, you're probably going to need to finally spend a 1st-round pick on a D lineman, much like you finally spent a couple on offensive tackles. Who knows what the quarterback position is going to look like a year from now? If this offseason taught us anything, expect the unexpected when it comes to that. So, yeah, I don't necessarily see them, having to use a 1st-rounder on a corner again in the next 2 or 3 years. But that's the nice thing about having Joey Porter Jr. there. He's going to be your stud, and you just need that number 2 to be consistent, reliable, don't get beat deep, catch the ball when it comes your way, make plays on the ball when you get that opportunity. Maybe you'll get some safety help over the top because he's strapping guys up one-on-one. So, yeah, I think I get what they're trying to do there. And, throwing a bunch of 6'2", 6'3" guys who can run at the wall and seeing what sticks, you could do a lot worse than that.
Absolutely. We'll keep.
And we didn't even mention Dante Jackson. Dante Jackson's still in the fold, at least right now.
He's the starter. But the reason I didn't bring him up is because, I think he's more of a now guy. Like, he's going to start this year. I don't know how much longer after this. They might re-sign him for a couple years. But yeah, I think the plan is of one of these younger guys. If one of them can work out, then, like you said, you're not paying them a whole bunch of money. And he's kind of the anti of this prototype, right? Like, he's what, 5'11", so like he's not a longer cornerback, but he's experienced, he's fast, and he knows how to. He's one of those guys that knows how to take away the deep ball. So I think that's going to be something to watch.
What I was going to say though is if one of these guys does pop, then maybe you can look at Jackson in the slot. Sort of the way that Cam Sutton and Pat P were more coverage oriented slot guys than come up and hit you in the running game. So yeah, I mean, I'm less panicked about the corner position than some others seem to be, but you never know. There might be another shoe to drop. Whether it's Sutton, I know some fans are interested in doing business with Stephon Gilmore at 31 or 32 years old. And, maybe that door is still cracked open just a bit for Patrick Peterson, but I'd say with each passing day, it doesn't happen, probably becomes less likely.
Absolutely. He's Brian Batko of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. I'm Chris Carter. We both bring you coverage here at post-gazette.com. Find all our written work there, but find all our podcasts on your favorite podcasting apps and on YouTube. Like this video if you enjoy it. Subscribe to this channel to get all of the daily Monday through Friday episodes that come out from all of our different Pittsburgh sports writers, because it's an amazing place here at the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Thanks, everyone. Have a great weekend. Back Monday here on the North Shore Drive Podcast. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the North Shore Drive podcast from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. If you watch this video on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. For all the sports coverage from the Post-Gazette that we have to offer, visit post-gazette.com.